Alright, so let me make a quick demo of the program that I'm doing. I think I'm gonna call this uh, keycrumbing, something like breadcrumbing and keys. I don't know, whatever. So I'm going to whisper through this whole presentation because my family is asleep. So this is going to be ASMR. Let's take a look at the program. Anyway, so yeah, so the whole idea here is to make a tool to help design non-linear games like Metroidvanias, Outer Worlds, and pretty much anything that requires keys in different places that unlock other places that have other keys. Right, so we represent parts of the map with nodes. There are rooms. I'm calling rooms, giving them a name, connect to other places, and the edge has like a gate that defines how this is going to be accessible. So this is a little, let me delete this. This is a little schematic version of Super Metroid that I made, just the beginnings of it, just until we get the super missiles. And so here, right now, we have the player. Let me remove everything from his inventory. Where do we get the morph ball? I think we get the morph ball here. I think that we also get the missiles we get here. Bomb we get here. And the super missiles I'm pretty sure we get here. Yeah. Okay, so this is like the starting position where the criteria, the crashed spaceship, our inventory is empty, and we can only go down here at the upper Bristar mines where we get the morph ball and the missile, right? So right now we get a representation of what is accessible with the gates, right? So basically it means we can't go anywhere else. I had a color system that I accidentally deactivated. They basically show that you can't actually go anywhere else just here. But you can still see it from the dashed lines that this is the only location. Here, however, there's a simulation that finds the shortest path, and it calculates that first you're going to go to the upper Bristol mines, you're going to get the morph ball, the missile, then you're going to go to the Buster Reason and get the bomb. Right, so here we have like a whole itinerary, so to speak. So it shows that every room is going to be accessible. If we had like a new room here, like something like this. Now we have unreachable new room because nothing is connected with. Anyway, so if we want to analyze what would the map look like if we had the morph ball, just drag it onto the player. Now it's in his inventory, and suddenly you can actually reach this area here. A lot of other gates are open. No, actually no other gates open. Anyway, so yeah, you can also put the missiles there. Like, let's say he already went down there and got these two items. Yes, some gates already open. Now he fought the boss to Rizzo, got the bomb. This is what happened. Now and once you get the super missiles, and then you can actually go to the rest of the game there. So that's how that works. Let me put this guy back where they were originally, just so I can show the other part of the system. Right, so the timeline, this is where you're going to actually yeah, okay, so here's the color coding back. Okay, so everything gray means he cannot be accessed immediately. It doesn't mean that you can never access it. It just means that this is the only access that the player can reach right now, right? So this is like a timeline editor. Frame 0 is like the standard positions, the initial positions, and I'm not allowing you to edit that part. So you have to go here, and like, let's say you want to be a little literal, let's animate the player going here, right? So that creates a keyframe that does that. And once you're here, I want the player to grab these two things, and then I want the player to go to this boss, grab the bomb, and then I want him to I mean, we can animate the whole thing, but it's really not necessary. This is more of a tool for analyzing states, right? So you don't have to actually move the player to get the whole thing, but just to show how the animation actually works, it shows these things, right? So you can actually save this particular timeline, and like here you can actually main route, but you can create a new one. And yeah, that's the idea of the program. Now, for games like Outer Wilds, for example, there's also timed events, and I thought about how to include that in a more flexible, general way, and I made buttons for that. So I'm going to make a button that is called Events, and let's put it in a room. It's not going to be an accessible room. It's just going to be a room for events. Let me call it event rooms. Events room. So this is a button. Let's say this room here that I created. It's only going to be accessible after some time, for example. So let's. It's a good moment to actually show how the gates work. So events is the button that I created, and it's going to open when the button is pressed. Right. So let me look at the other events. Right. So this gate here only opens when the player has the morph ball. So I also have this little node here. Player has morph ball. You also have like and or like Boolean operators to make more complex gates. But we want to make an event, like something happens after a while. If we were designing Outer Wilds game, for example, something like that. This could be like some parts of Brittle Hall that become broken after a few 10 minutes and you can't access it anymore. So let's say this instant, this event happens. Right. So this is only going to be accessible after some time, right? So stuff happens and point. Now it's open. So you can study like which parts the player can explore. If it's reasonable, if it's not too difficult to move from one place to the other before this event happens, stuff like that. Anyway, so I think I covered pretty much everything the program does. I have some planned features, stuff like heat maps for backtracking. If you make a map where you have to go back and forth through the same area, a lot of times you might want to know which rooms are going to be visited more often than the others. And soft locks is also another important thing for a designer to know. Like, can you actually get your player in a position legally without cheating, and then get locked in there without being able to progress in this? Like, this is something that can be calculated from this graph, so that would be very useful. Yeah, that's it.